Have you ever gone on YouTube and somehow missed a Christian horror video? Come over here to the right and click that little bell to be notified of every time I upload. Yeah, I know. We're up to number 7 now. So, but I haven't seen it yet. So, Michael dies. Michael's at the hospital, kills Loomis. So, where's this movie going to pick up? Oh, they're ignoring... They're... Wait, Jamie Lee Curtis is coming back? What the hell? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Time to review Scream H2O. Halloween H2O. Excuse me. So no, all seriousness, I call it Scream H2O, but, we'll talk about why we call it that. Okay, so we get out of Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. Dr. Loomis is more or less killed in the hospital from Michael. You hear him screaming. He gets the Curse of Thorn. We don't know exactly what happens, but so when we get to H2O, we're supposed to find out, right? Wrong. So, Jamie Lee Curtis expressed an interest to get back on board, and because of that, she got her way. Not complaining. We're going to talk about the movie on its own merit. I'm not just going to... I liked Halloween 6, but just because I liked Halloween 6 doesn't mean I was not on board with the swapping of storylines. Going back to the original trio, this is one storyline that people like to call, like, the real 3. You got Halloween 1, Halloween 2, then Halloween H2O. So, here we go. So, Halloween H2O. Let's just talk about the movie on its own merit. So, obviously this movie was post-Scream, and after that, it was the floodgate for the smart aleck, wise teenage characters, and this movie was no exception, specifically because Kevin Williamson wrote the movie. And that's not, here's the thing. I've made a video talking about how when you dislike something, it's not necessarily because it was a bad made film, but it's a product of its time. So this movie is definitely a product of that era, of that late 90s, smart alecky, I know what's happening. I'm not your average dumb teenager kind of characters, and we got a lot of that in this movie. And that was just that era. That's how things were. But the character of John Strode, the son, or John Tate, whatever, because she had a different name. She was a witness protection program. That character, who was basically really the second main focus besides Jamie, was a great character. He was very good. His character was portrayed, I thought, in a very good light. The cast in general was pretty good. I really don't have a complaint about anybody in the movie. I don't think anybody was just a bad actor in the movie, or was just a character that wasn't just a fill-in character. Everybody actually served pretty good purposes, from what I remember seeing. There was a big controversy, or not controversy, there's been talks about the music. The original score that was supposed to be in the film was this big orchestrated, style of the Halloween soundtrack, and we didn't exactly get that. Things were changed for one reason or the other. There's info out there to find out why it happened, or, I don't know who made that call. But that was really interesting, that they ended up using a lot of just stock score for the movie. You didn't really get a whole lot of Halloween music in it. I mean, you do, but it's just not... You have to see the movie to see what I mean. The score doesn't feel like a Halloween movie. Not all of it, anyway. This is the first movie without Dr. Loomis. We lost Donald Pleasance by this point. God rest his soul. Everybody still misses him to this day. And, that's really something that's just missing from the movies. And all of them we'll talk about, but... it's sad that he wasn't able to carry on longer. He lived a great full life, but just in a general sense, I always think of one of the Halloween movies suffer a little bit because of Donald Pleasance not being in the films. He was just that good to me. Donald Pleasance was just so important to the franchise, and we don't get him in that. And it's a little unfortunate. This is hindsight, and hindsight's 2020. As far as the original timeline, I really do wish this would have been the last one, and we'll talk more about Resurrection next, but based on the ending was phenomenal. Great ending, how she killed him. Just a great ending. Jamie Lee Curtis obviously did a great job in the movie. She's a good actor, you know. She doesn't overact. She just plays it straight, you know. And I always like that about her. She always just plays it straight, you know. And we had a good Michael Myers. There was a big fiasco with the mask, you know. I really do wish they would have made up their mind, because I guess being just a hardcore fan of everything now, I know about the controversy, and I know that, you know, that the mask is different in all the scenes, so it aggravates me, because I can't help but think about it whenever I see it. And then there's the dreaded CGI scene with the you know, with the CGI Michael Myers mask. You know, as a if a casual fan, somebody that doesn't think about this, isn't aware about different masks, you know, I think it'd be a little bit more enjoyable for a casual fan. But being a hardcore fan and knowing some of the things that happen in this movie, it's a little jarring. But that's not to say that I can't sit down and enjoy the film. You know, LL Cool J is my favorite thing about the film. I love him. I love his character. And I know this film predates Halloween Resurrection, but I do have to say something. I'm never gonna just shoot something down because of a direction they take. What I mean is, obviously Busta Rhymes is not the most favorite character in the Halloween franchise. And it has nothing to do with him being a rapper or a hip-hop artist, because LL Cool J is one, a huge one, and it was in Halloween H20, and I love him in it. It was the way his character was portrayed in a great light. We'll talk about LL Cool J's... I mean, we'll talk about Busta Rhymes' character in Resurrection next, but LL Cool J's character was great. He was a funny character, even if you didn't know who he was. If you didn't know who he was and you saw that, I dare say that you just would have liked his character, because it was great in the film. Good writing, you know, good writing and good casting. He was you know, he's a good actor. He really was a good actor. He did a great job. So, you know, I understand why they ended up skewing the timeline, especially, you know, on the account of things just really taking a weird turn, and with the notion of getting Jamie back and the notion of doing this 20 years later film, you know, I understand. I really do understand. Of course, there'll always be the fans that say they wish that the storyline would have continued straight with what happened from the last one, but it is what it is. I understand it. And you know what? Halloween Halloween H20 is a good film. I enjoy it. I don't watch it very often, but I you know, every time I do watch it, I do sit back and I can just and enjoy it. So H20 is a good film. Just a lot of weird things about it. There's a lot of weird things about it to me. You know, this is really a review from a deep-rooted horror fan's perspective. It's not really just a general watcher review. But, you know, that's just what I want to say about Halloween H20. So, all in all, Halloween H20 is not bad. It's a fun film. So, if you haven't seen it, obviously check it out. But most of you who watch this video have seen it. So, join us next time when we get into the 2002 film Halloween Resurrection.